Yes, what's happening? This is my like for like. My Range Rover's in the garage. This is my like for like replacement car. Anyway, this is Endrit. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, good. I'm excited. Ready.
He's on, ready for Winners on the Wednesday interview. So welcome to my crib. Come on round.
Let's go.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Hey, what's up? My name's Samuel Leeds. Welcome to another Winners on a Wednesday. This guy's called Endrit. He's 21. He's financially free. Endrit, you always said you were going to be sitting here on my sofa on Winners on a Wednesday.
I did. I said I'm going to sit on this seat right here, and I am here now.
So this is like a vision board happening now.
Yes, I visualized it, and now I made it happen.
So you didn't take, you haven't got hard feelings about me evicting you?
No, not at all. I learned a lot from it, and I went and took action, and obviously I am where I am now.
Now, we first met, I think there was a dinner that happened maybe a year ago, and at that time, you know, you came down to this dinner, we bumped into each other very, very briefly. You were watching all of my YouTube videos. You were like, oh man, I'm watching all the videos, I'm reading all the books, I'm listening to the podcasts. You were getting so much information, but you weren't getting any results.
Yeah, that's true. The first year when I started learning about property, I spent a whole year watching videos, reading books, mostly your videos, they were interesting me. So I had all this information stored in my head, but I wasn't taking action on any of it. I thought I needed to learn more. I kept thinking, if I carried on, you could always learn more. If you don't take the action, you're not going to get no results.
And the thing is though, when you came on the eviction even, you know, the YouTube show, you were telling me you've been phoning agents, you'd made loads of calls, you even had taken action. Yeah,
so that's after the first year. Then I started taking action, I'd say.
Dude, how many years have you spent thinking about doing this? You're 21, man.
Well, on the second year, I started taking massive action. Right. I was working 18-hour days.
Doing what?
Property sourcing. So I had built up 200 investors in a month.
Right.
But then I got no deals for the investors. The main issue was I was making loads of phone calls to agents. I've made way over 10,000 calls throughout my journey.
Jeez.
But I was following, I would say, I wasn't following up with these agents. I wasn't closing. I was getting them close to the point of closing, but I wasn't closing. I didn't know how to close. So
you knew the theory.
I knew the
of
theory.
how a rent to rent works, of how a lease option works.
Yeah.
But you didn't know how to actually do a deal.
That's right. Yeah.
Why don't you just pay and do my lease option boot camp and stuff?
Well, see, when I came into property, I'll be honest, I thought a lot of these courses, they just want to take my money.
Right.
And I didn't really think I'm going to get the value for the money that I didn't. It's more self-belief, to be honest. It's self-esteem. Everything comes down to self-esteem. When you have enough self-esteem, you'll take
You know what though? The lie of I don't know who they are, the losers.
Yeah.
That says you don't pay for training, you can just get it for free online. That lie, I used to just think, stupid. But now it bothers me because I think you're robbing people's success. Like, you're living proof. If you just try and do the free stuff and go online and watch videos and etc. and listen to podcasts and read books and have a bash without proper support, proper training, being in the right environment, being professionally supported, you're going to get blown flat.
Yeah, no, that's guaranteed.
Blown flat.
Guaranteed. That happened to me. I'm living proof of that happening. I've made so many calls. I've done so much. I've put so much effort in. 18-hour days for a year. So I was only sleeping 6 hours. And
crazy. And you didn't get a single deal?
I didn't get a single deal.
Mate, that must have been demoralising.
I didn't have the steps. I wasn't shown how to do it. So I'm just trying to get all this information from reading books, and someone says something else, someone else says something else. I think you need to find a mentor that you want to be like, someone who you can see that's getting results.
Yeah.
And then stick with that one person.
You know what? I think you're right, because you can Google something. You know, like if you Google how to get a rent-to-rent contract, what's going to come up? All these different things.
Yeah.
If you Google, you know, how to do a rent-to-rent, You're going to get websites written by kids or written by people that don't know what they're talking about. You know, you might end up on some terrible website. Someone's saying rent to rents don't even work.
Yeah.
It's like all this different conflicting advice. You know, you're right. I mean, as it happens, you spent the first year not taking any action. Obviously,
Yeah.
you're not going to get results. Second year, taking loads of action. How did it feel 1 year into working 18-hour days? I mean, when you say 18-hour days, do you mean your job on top of property?
No, I only worked on property. So I literally was working whilst I'm eating food. And I'm known from the people that know me as someone who's extremely crazy at my work ethic.
So you were literally, how were you affording to live?
Well, I live with my family, so I don't have any expenses.
What did your parents think of you doing that?
They thought I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you probably were.
I was, yeah.
So you were spending 18 hours a day taking action off the back of reading books and listening to YouTube videos, and after a year you thought, I need to do something else.
Yeah,
Apply for the eviction.
that's definitely it. Yeah, I mean,
When you came on the eviction, how many deals had you done?
on the eviction.
No, when you first
before.
came.
So I had sourced 2 rent-to-rent deals.
Okay.
So I met up with someone who had deals, so I knew what he was looking for, and he sort of was guiding me as well. So I had sourced 2 rent-to-rent deals. Then I obviously applied for the eviction.
When you say you sourced 2 rent-to-rent deals, you found them and you sold them.
I found them and sold them.
How much do you make?
I made £1,000 in total. So
So £500 a deal.
£500 a deal.
So you got ripped off.
Yeah, I did get help from that individual,
Okay.
so
Oh, fair
mentoring
enough.
in return. So it's sort of, yeah,
You got,
it was
you got
worth
a bit
it.
of tips and a bit of.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right, fine. Then you applied for the eviction.
Then I applied for
Boom! Shaka! Meet Mr. Samuel Leeds.
I knew what I needed to do to get on
Yeah.
the eviction. I'm gonna
You
do.
went crazy, bro. You were harassing me. One time I was thinking of calling the Popo. I need to call the police on this dude.
I had 127 comments just on my Instagram
Dude,
tagging
you
you.
were stalking me. You were messaging me. You were getting everyone to tag me in your stuff. I was like, who is this dude? Who is this dude?
Yeah.
I met you one time very briefly at dinner. But even then, you
Yeah.
didn't pay for the dinner. You only got to go to the dinner by doing the same harassment techniques.
Yeah,
I remember.
that's right. Yeah.
What happened? How did we first meet? What happened with that?
Well, you had put on a Winners on a Wednesday dinner, and
Yeah.
you were inviting someone to come along. So I think it was to make a post tagging you and writing a comment or
So I
something
started all
along
this.
those lines.
Did I do a giveaway?
Yeah,
And
you were doing
like,
a giveaway.
1,000 comments. I'm
And
getting this. I'm
me
getting
in my
this.
head with my mindset, I'm like, there's no way on earth I'm not going there.
You know what though? In all seriousness, when I saw you posting regularly, obviously I'm kind of kidding. You weren't actually harassing me. But when I saw how much effort you were putting into it and how many people you were getting to tag and you were sharing stuff and I was getting tagged all the time,
Yeah.
enter it. You know, I actually saw that as, you know, hunger. I saw that as someone that's prepared to put themselves out there. And that's why, you know, I put a good word and I was like, Amelia, you know, you need to check this kid out. Next thing I know, you're on the eviction. What was that like when you first started doing the eviction?
That was great. I was used to working long hours, working hard, but it's the hours that I put in were more effective. I actually got a deal agreed on the eviction for the lease option.
Well, you went through the lease option boot camp as part of the eviction.
Yeah.
Which was, and people think the lease option boot camp is just going to be me talking. No, 50 hours, majority of the time, what were you doing?
I was taking action.
Out on the road?
Out on the road, yeah, going everywhere.
Right. So what happened? You secured a lease option?
I secured a lease option. I'm still in communication with one of the people I spoke to, one of the landlords, who actually have 7 properties that they want to give me. Bless you.
Sorry, say that again. You're still in communication?
Yes, I'm still in communication with one of the landlords that from the eviction, who actually have 7 properties that they want to give me. And I know they work. All of them work.
These lease options?
Yeah, lease option agreements. Yeah.
Okay.
They're just waiting for the COVID situation to slow down. So when the market picks up and stuff, then they want to agree a deal with me for 7 of their properties. On a lease option.
Awesome. What was the biggest thing that you learned on the lease option bootcamp that shifted things? Because since then you've gone on to become financially free. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that and what deals you've done. But what was the shift? What was the thing that you learned, or the thing that happened, or the thing that you saw? What changed?
The main shift was going direct to landlords.
Okay.
So before, as I said, I've made all these calls, but they were all through agents. And even if I had a deal, I couldn't pass referencing and I couldn't get the deals. It was
Sure. So you were hitting a brick wall, which
Yeah.
was, number one, you were contacting agents and they weren't taking you serious, they weren't
Yeah.
doing you just, but then the odd one that would finally come through, they'd say, we need your references, and then they go, oh, you're not working, you got no
Yeah.
job, you got no money, close. So you were like climbing the wrong ladder.
Yeah.
So you then shifted that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was when I went direct to landlords, the second I had a viewing booked in, within a matter of, what was it, within the same day of doing the boot camp, lease option boot camp, I knew that I can definitely do this for the rent to rents as well. So
Right,
in my
yeah.
mind, I'm like, as soon as I get out this eviction, I thought I was going to win anyway, but as soon as I get out the eviction, I'm going to get my rent-to-rent deals going direct to landlords. It was much easier because I've practiced pitching agents for so long. So
Yeah.
speaking to a landlord and pitching was very easy for me.
Yeah. So here we go. This is potentially, for people watching, going to save them a year's worth of anguish
Yeah.
right now. So if you are 20 years old and you haven't got any money or any income, trying to get a rent-to-rent from an agent might be difficult.
Yeah.
So another angle would be to go and speak to a vendor direct. Where did you learn to find vendors direct, and what did you learn to say?
So, as I said, on the lease option, when in the eviction, when we were doing the lease options, that's when I first started actually calling vendors direct on Gumtree.
On Gumtree, right. So Gumtree, and Gumtree is just what is Gumtree? Like a website where people put stuff?
Yeah, people sell all sorts of items.
Right.
They rent their properties, sell their properties on Gumtree. That's where you find motivated sellers and motivated people
Yeah,
to rent
because
their
you've got to
properties.
be pretty motivated to put your house on Gumtree.
Yeah.
It's like, it didn't work with an agent, I'm motivated, put it on Gumtree, and then when you phone up, what are you saying?
When I phone up, I start off asking about the property and the condition it's in. Then I get into that I run a corporate let company and I'll fully manage the property, take it off their hands. I think you need to just explain the good points about rent to rent to the landlords before just going at them with all this information, because as soon as you mention company let, if you go in saying, hi, I'm Endrit, I run a company let, turn off. They're going to turn off the phone. But if you go in there, genuinely speaking to them, building a bit of rapport, and I'd say slowly tell them the benefits of a rent to rent, taking it off their hand, guaranteeing their rent, fully managing their property, then they're more willing to work with you.
Yeah.
And if they're still unsure, what I do is I book in a viewing and I say, okay, meet me in person, and then you can see what kind of person I am. If you want to work with me, we can work together. Another big tip I'd say for young people is, because a lot of landlords don't want to work with young people. That's just the truth. Because of you look young, they don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
A big tip, something that functioned for me with these 2 rent-to-rent deals I took on, was I bring my parents with me to the viewing.
Right.
And they
We're going to get onto that when we talk about your rent to rents that you secured.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on. So you're initially speaking to a landlord, you're young. How does that hinder you? I mean, you
well,
don't
on the
look that young to
phone,
me anyway.
well, I didn't have a beard back then, but on the phone, they don't know how old you are. So you can speak to them. That's not the issue. I'd say closing the deal where you have to go meet them.
Yeah.
I'd recommend bringing someone older with you.
Or grow a beard.
Or grow a beard, if you can.
Right.
Yeah.
So going back to this point, right? So ringing people on Gumtree is smart because it's direct to vendor. They're motivated.
Yeah.
Where else could you find direct to vendor opportunities?
Well, you could go on Spare Room.
Yeah.
You've got Open Rent.
Yeah.
But mainly, I personally like Gumtree.
Fine.
I use
That's
Gumtree
worked for you.
myself,
But the
yeah.
point is, There's a whole realm of different
Yeah,
ways
there's loads of platforms.
where you can contact the owner direct. You don't need an agent that's going to go, well, actually, we need this, right? Because now it's relationship building.
Yeah.
Now it's about, as you said, rapport. So, okay, so on the eviction, you got a lease option agreement, different things, which was kind of part of training. What happened with the lease option agreement that you secured on the eviction?
Well, with that, I'll be honest with you, I've kind of let it. I didn't follow up with it. I did speak to them. They had said they want to speak to their solicitor. So when they spoke to their solicitor, apparently they didn't recommend doing a lease option with us. So that was the. If I had followed up and maybe got them in touch with one of the solicitors that do lease options, maybe would have got it across the line.
So do you feel that you kind of messed up on that a little bit?
I did, yeah.
You dropped the ball, maybe because you were busy with like the training and you were going off to do.
Yeah.
But what happened, and again, lesson in this, so you secured the deal, you got the memorandum of understanding secured and signed.
Yeah.
The memorandum of understanding, in my experience, once you get that signed, the deal has a 90% chance of going through.
Yeah.
You got that signed, awesome. Then what happened was, you dropped the ball a little bit, the vendor went and spoke to their solicitor when you probably should have taken a bit more control and said, hey, great, here's how this is going to work. Let me put you in touch with a solicitor, and you put them in touch with your solicitor.
Yeah.
But no big deal. It's a learning curve. After the eviction, you went and secured a couple of beautiful, juicy rent-to-rents, which I've been out to, I've seen.
Yeah.
I saw them just after you got them, before they were filled. Talk to me about how you got those deals. Tell me what happened. Tell me the story.
So when I left the eviction, I'd say not even in a week's time, I went on to Gumtree. I took off 2-3 days to sort of settle down from the eviction. It was quite intense.
Was you emotional when you got evicted?
I was, yeah.
Very upset.
I was very upset. I genuinely believed I'm definitely going to win this, and I am the type of person I want to win at everything I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still the learning curve from it was enough to get me to where I needed
And also,
to be.
when you got evicted, you know, you're in my dining room,
Yeah.
and I said, you're evicted, and you left. You even said as you were leaving, I'm going to be back on winners on the Wednesday.
I did.
I haven't lost, I've won my property game. I'm gonna win, but maybe just not in the form that I thought I would on the eviction.
Yeah,
But
yeah, we had that conversation right after. I was emotional, but I said to you, I'm gonna get these deals. Well, I'm gonna get some deals, and I'm gonna be sitting on this seat that I'm sitting right now.
Yeah. Was I nice to you after the cameras went off?
Sorry, say that.
Was I nice to you when the cameras went off?
Yeah.
That's good.
I remember when you gathered everyone. So when I walked in the kitchen, everyone's clapping for me. That was a good feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Because on camera it can be a bit rough, you know, like you're evicted and it's a bit but when the cameras go off, it's a bit nicer.
Yeah, definitely.
You know. So okay, so you get out of the eviction. You had a couple of days to just mourn and grieve that you got evicted, and then what happened?
Then I went on to Gumtree, and I was just calling up every single lead that was on there. To be honest, it only took me 10 calls to agree a deal with this landlord. 2 deals actually, because it's two properties that she has. So I had spoken to them. They didn't want to work with me at the start. That's the truth. I had to sort of build rapport and get them to be.
What did they say? How did you know they didn't want to work with you?
They didn't want a company, first of all, because they had a company right before I took them on, and they had a bad experience.
Yeah.
They sort of used it for a different purpose, not for rent to rent.
Oh wow.
So that was the issue that landlord had.
Yeah.
But I managed to. I spoke to them. I said, "Look, can I meet you at the property? I'll do a viewing. You can see what type of person I am. I'll explain how it all works and what I'm going to do."
Okay.
And when I went to the viewing, I could instantly tell that when they saw me, I had no beard. I was looking like a 14-year-old. They wasn't, because they're old. They were in their 70s. These landlords.
They thought you were a kid.
They saw me as a kid. They saw me as someone starting out. He's going to make a lot of mistakes. He might not pay my rent. All these questions in their head. But I managed to speak to them in a professional way. And then the main thing was I brought my parents.
Yeah, you said that. So you brought your mum and your dad.
Yeah, I brought my mum and my dad.
Was that awkward or was that fine?
No, it was fine. I brought them with me, and just so they could see I'm a family person, I'm someone who's going to pay their rent, so they feel more comfortable with me and not just a kid starting out. So they spoke to my parents spoke to them, had this communication, built rapport, and then the next day I called them up. I say, let's close this, let's close this deal, and they agreed. I went there, signed the papers, took the keys, and...
What paperwork did you use?
Well, they didn't want to use my contract, so the landlord had actually found an agency that has a contract. So I used their contract.
What time period is it over, the timescale?
It's 2 years with the option to extend for another 5 years if obviously I manage the property well.
Cool. So as long as you've done a decent job?
Yeah.
Wow, so that'd be a 7 year in total. Worst case, 2 years if you mess up.
Yeah.
How much money was needed to secure these 2 rent-to-rent properties, and how much profit are you making from them?
So I paid £1,000 deposit per flat, so that's £2,000 in total.
Yeah.
The refurb works, I'd say, were about just under £2,000.
Okay.
But with the dressings and the furniture, it came up to about £4,000 in total that I've spent. But those dressings I'm going to reuse for my other properties, so it's sort of a business expense rather than a investment.
Okay, so it's not crazy money, but it's quite an investment.
Yes.
You know, considering you've not got an income, you didn't have an income coming in at the time.
That's right.
So you get these 2 properties. What are they, and how much money are they making?
So it's 2 rent-to-rent deals in the same area. Same building. I've secured the whole building, and I'm making 1,600 net profit per month.
That's incredible. Deals. So you're making 1,600, and they're 2 large apartments.
Yeah.
And how many bedrooms?
4 beds. 2 4 beds.
2 4-bed apartments. So you're paying the landlady, a guaranteed rent for the 2 apartments.
Yeah.
But then you've rented it out as a multi-let, and you're renting on a room-by-room basis.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
What are the rules in terms of licensing, planning permission, all that stuff?
Well, in Hounslow Council, which is in Hounslow Council, if it's 3 or more occupants, you need additional licensing. But because I wanted to put a couple in so I can charge a bit more, I applied for mandatory licensing, which is up to 5 occupants in the property. So, yeah, I mean, you just go on the Hounslow website, write HMO license, send an application form.
So you got a license for it then?
I've applied for the license.
But you don't have to wait to be approved?
I don't have to wait, no.
That's a really interesting point though, that people probably don't realise. When you apply for a HMO licence, it can take a long time to get it approved.
Yeah.
But you don't have to wait until it's approved to start renting out the rooms. You can start renting out the rooms from the moment you apply. Yeah,
that's right. So that's what I've done actually. So I just applied for it straight away, done the works, and then tenanted. I'm fully tenanted now.
How do you know whether it will be definitely approved or not?
Well, I check if it's in an Article 4 area.
Yep.
So it wasn't in an Article 4. I had a look into it, and I know what I need to do in terms of the refurbs in the property to get it licensed. But even then, if there's something that's missing, they will come and tell you, oh, you need to get this fixed, you need to get this fixed. So and that's the thing as well. Later. People don't realise again, but when you're turning a property into a HMO, on the council website, it will give you a real clear breakdown guide of exactly what the property needs in order to be licensable. So you just read that, make sure that it's done to that standard. You've spent a few thousand refurbishing it, furnishing it, making it nice and appropriate, applied for the licence, rent out the rooms. How quickly did it take to rent the rooms out in this current market with the economy being a bit funny? What was that like? So December, before the refurbs even started, I had tenanted one room. I took it on the 28th of November when I took the property on. On December the 1st, I got one tenant. So 3 days later, I've actually taken the property. December, then the rest of it was all doing the refurb works, and I wasn't really getting much viewings then, especially because it's December, it's the slowest month of the year. And then from January, or sort of towards the end of December, January, I had rented 5 rooms in 4 days. I had rented all my rooms within 2 weeks after the refurbs were done.
Not bad.
Less than 2 weeks, yeah.
That's actually very, very fast. So what you did again, which was smart, was you started marketing the rooms before they were quite ready.
Yeah.
And you also marketed them in an interesting way.
Yes, I did, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, when I was marketing just in Chiswick, for example, I might get 2 messages, maybe 3 messages a day, but that wasn't enough. I had 8 rooms to fill, so I needed to bring all the attention. So I had put multiple adverts. I put one in Turnham Green, I'd put one in Acton, all around the area that's close to my property. I put adverts out, dummy ads. So then when people requested a viewing for another area like Turnham Green, I would say, sorry, but that property's gone. However, I've got this one in Chiswick. Would you like to view it? And I'll show them the real pictures of the property, and they'll say yes. I actually got 3 tenants like that. So
they're ringing about a property in an area, because they're ringing, get them on the phone, get their attention, and then you're saying, you know what, unfortunately that one's not available, but there is one 5 minutes down the road, and then you just sell them on it.
Yeah.
Sales skills are really important as well. I mean, what you're talking about is marketing, and I mean, you know, I wouldn't necessarily endorse that way of doing it, because I'm not sure how Spare Room would feel about it. But again, your attitude is just doing whatever it takes. You know? So I wouldn't judge you for it. You know, I probably wouldn't necessarily encourage people to do that, but I wouldn't judge you for doing it, because you did whatever you needed to do to get that bad boy filled in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which you did.
Yeah, I did, yeah. So.
And you also, I like the fact that you've got 4 rooms, but you were like, I want to rent it to one of the rooms to a couple. So I'm going to get a license for 5 people. You're like maximising your profits on every given time. And another thing is, a lot of people do rent to rents, but they do it wrong, and they might only make £200 or £300 on a deal, and they're messing around. But you're making £1,600 a month clean profit off these just 2 properties.
Yeah.
You've systemised it well. You've got a little maintenance team.
Yeah, I've got a maintenance team, professional cleaners. So it's all being fully managed.
And that 1,600, just to be clear, that's profit, right?
Net profit, yeah.
What's the actual total turnover that your business is collecting from the rents?
It's what was it, £5,900.
All right, so just shy of £6,000, but you're only keeping 1,600.
Yeah.
They say turnover is vanity, profit is sanity. But it must feel pretty good to be making £1,600 a month coming in each month. That must be a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, for me, that's financial freedom. It's more than financial freedom because I don't have much expenses. So I'm financially free now in property, which is allowing me now to focus on getting more deals, which is what I'm aiming for. But yeah, it wasn't hard to get the rooms tenanted with the right. By doing it the way I did, I was getting sort of 15 messages plus a day.
And the landlady has got another couple properties for you now.
That's right. So she's got another 2 properties, one being in Chiswick, right next to the two flats I've got, 2 apartments I've got, and then another 6-bedroom house in Earls Court, which I'm waiting to agree. She's just waiting for the tenants to move out so I can take over.
Excellent. And you also got another landlord direct?
I've got another landlord direct, actually on a new build in Park Royal, which is in the negotiation stage. They've agreed to work with me as a company. Now it's just agreeing the right price.
So what's the goal? I mean, what are you hoping to achieve by the end of 2021?
I've got a huge goal. I want to take on another 20 rent-to-rents this year. So I'm working hard at getting there, which will get me to 22 rent-to-rents. That's my main. That's all I'm focusing on for this year.
And what's your strongest reason for doing all this?
My strongest reason is getting my dad out of. He's got his business, but it's a car wash business. He's working in it, so I want to get him out of work. I want him to. He's worked enough years now. I want to get him out of work so he can settle down, enjoy his life with the family. And also I've got a dream and a target to build an empire. So yeah, that's what the thing that drives me is getting my family completely financially free and settle down.
Has anyone else in your family like done this before?
No, they haven't. I've got family relatives. I don't want to say any names, but they've done buy-to-lets.
Right.
Just the standard: buy a property, wait, save up, buy a property, wait 20 years, whatever,
Yeah.
sell it. They've done that. But this is completely different.
Yeah, that's the slow way to get
very
financial
slow,
freedom. You know, like you're making more money, £1,600 off these 2 properties than most people would do if they actually just went and bought the properties.
Yeah.
Because you know how to control it and profit from it. So, you know, that's fabulous. Words of advice to someone watching this. What would you say to someone watching this that wants to emulate in what you've done? Maybe they're young, maybe they've not got the beard yet.
Yeah.
Top tips.
First tip I'd say is get a mentor, someone who's done it. That's the most important thing. You're going to save, like I say, over a year's time by doing that. Second thing is follow the steps that your mentor gives you, exactly the way they give it to you. If you're young and you're meeting the landlord directly, then I'd bring someone older with you. Maybe someone with experience in that strategy that you're doing, or someone like a family member, so they can see you're a genuine individual.
That's solid.
And take action. Yeah, the laser beam focused and take action.
And again, you don't have to necessarily take your parents. If your parents aren't backing you, like take someone that's in property that wants to just see you win. And mentoring as well. Like it doesn't have to be really, really expensive. I mean, my mentoring is £95 a month.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of money.
It's very cheap, actually.
And you've got access to me, you've got access to a bunch of other people that are financially free. So it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be spending tens of thousands of pounds. But I agree with what you're saying. Get some guidance, get some support.
The main issue, and I can speak from personal experience, is that people don't have enough self-esteem. They don't believe enough in themselves. So if they first learn how to build self-confidence and believe that they're going to achieve what they want to achieve, that's the first step.
Yeah,
then
right.
it's finding the mentor and taking the action.
Yeah.
Because now you're mentally prepared to do what it takes to get to where you want to be.
I think that's really, really true. So, massive congrats on what you've done. So I can't wait to see your empire. And I don't know, did you do well in school?
No.
You failed in school?
Yeah, well, I wasn't good in school. No, I'd never cared about school, to be honest. I wouldn't even go to the exams. I was the naughty kid.
Oh, you were the naughty kid?
Yeah, I was the naughty kid.
So naughty kid, started no money, spent 2 years thinking about it, watching YouTube videos, failing miserably, and now, woof, everything's changed, winning, financially free, big heart. So dude, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're so welcome. Every single week, folks, I interview another success student. I don't know any other property training company on the planet that does this. Every week just interview someone. We got Winners Wednesday interviews booked up until the summer of 2021. So it works. The process works, the training works. If you want to see more Winners on a Wednesday stories, check them out here. We've got over 100 interviews for the last couple of years. If you want to learn about how to get mentored from Samuel 365 or at the crash course, I'll leave some links in the description below. And also don't forget to subscribe right here where you can see more videos every single day. Thanks so much. See you next time.